Hello everyone. I know this is a very random video from me, don't expect these types of videos from me often though. I am making this video because of my love for Aura's team's Five Nights at Fredbear's Family Diner remake series, which I will refer to as FNaFFD from now onward. In this video, I will go over the first game in the series. I will cover the sequel in a separate video. Let's begin with the game's intro. When we press the New Game button, we are given a cutscene of our protagonist, Paul, who sees a job opportunity for Fredbear's Family Diner in a newspaper. This newspaper is very detailed and it references one of Aura's first games, that game being the start of the Mort Sot. Through this we can see that Fredbear's lended the company known as Joy and Fun a copy of Fredbear. It is a small detail that will later be expanded upon in the phone calls of FNaFFD 1. Another cool fact is that this newspaper references Five Nights at Candy's, stating that old candy will soon be decommissioned. This also predicted one of Aura's future projects, that being FNaClocking, which you should also follow. This won't be this game's final mention in this video by the way. On night 1 we are up against two animatronics. Those two animatronics are the original Puppet and Spring Bonnie. Spring Bonnie is green in this series due to him being green in the original FNaFFD series, which I think is quite a cool reference. I will go over the mechanics of the animatronics as they appear, so for now we will go over Spring Bonnie and the original Puppet. Spring Bonnie will start on the stage with Fredbear. He can either come to you from the door on your left or the window in front of you. Whenever he gets in you must open the panel on your right. There will be a section called Intelligence Pattern Restart near the top of the panel. Under this tab are two sections, they're named the Generated Pattern and the Manual Pattern. Under both of these sections are 6 cubes. When Spring Bonnie enters your office a random set of cubes under the Generated Pattern and the Manual Pattern tab will light up. You must click all the lit up cubes in the Manual Pattern tab to make Spring Bonnie leave as shown here. Failing to do this will of course result in a jump scare. Now for the original Puppet. When you open the panel on your right, there will be a section called Puppet Box Lock on the bottom of the panel. Within this section there is a small box with 2 arrows. Clicking on these arrows changes the music that is playing in the Puppet's box. You must change the music whenever the puppet becomes agitated. You can see when the puppet is becoming agitated by the icon of the puppet on the panel. If the icon is blue then you're safe. If the icon is orange you must change the music. If the icon is red, then it's too late to change the music. The puppet will then kill you shortly after. I should also mention that if you change the music while the puppet is not agitated, it will become agitated. Simply change back the music to revert your mistake. You can also see when the puppet is becoming agitated and how close it is to leaving from its position in the cameras. While we're on the topic of the cameras, let me talk about them for a bit. There are 6 cameras in this game. In my opinion, the environments are pretty good. It should be noted that the cameras can overheat, so you can only have them open for a short amount of time, similar to One Night at Flumpty's 2. There is also an audio button beside each camera, somewhat similar to FNaFFD 3. This button is irrelevant for now and I will explain it later on. On night 2 Fredbear is the only animatronic that becomes active, though he acts the same as Spring Bonnie with a few minor differences. These differences are that he laughs whenever he leaves the stage, and he will only attack you from the front window. Much like Spring Bonnie, if you fail to input the pattern into the panel, he will kill you. Aside from all the characters becoming more aggressive, that is it for night 2, so let's move on to night 3. On night 3 there is again only one new animatronic. That animatronic is everyone's favorite animatronic, Original Balloon Boy. Seriously though, I can assure you that this gremlin is more annoying than ever before. Original BB will begin in camera 3, which is also where the puppet is. He will leave camera 3 and go around the whole building to reach the office. He can come from either the left door or the front window. If Balloon Boy gets into your office, he will disable both the cameras and the panel, leaving you defenseless against practically every character in the game. To prevent him from reaching the office, you must use the audio buttons on the cameras that I mentioned earlier. You use the audio buttons as if he was Springtrap in FNAF 3. Press the button in the room that you want to lure him to. I would also like to take a moment to admire BB's visuals in the cameras. He looks terrifying with his eyes like that, and I think Aura's done a great job with it. That is all 4 of the main game animatronics that you will encounter in FNAF 1. That being said, we still have more to talk about in the custom night. FNAF 1 has 2 custom night exclusive characters. These 2 characters are named Divided Diesler and Smurly. Thankfully, they don't just reuse mechanics from other characters. They have different mechanics which only add on to the current game in a fantastic way. I will go over Divided Diesler first, then I will go over Smurly. Divided Diesler will begin in the kitchen sitting on a counter. He will move twice here before sprinting to the office. When he gets in, you must simply hover your mouse over his eyes to make him leave. He will not be subtle when he enters, as you can hear him run to the office. He will also play music upon entering. Smurly is a little harder to deal with than Divided Diesler. That being said, her mechanic is actually very simple. She advances towards the office in 3 phases from camera 6. Simply watch her and she will not move. Thing is that once she advances a phase, she will never go back. If she gets into the office, she will also kill you. I would also like to note that the characters Divided Diesler and Smurly are original characters. They were made by and are owned by 2 of the game's developers, those developers being Aurus and Faridbrox. So if you use either of these characters, please credit them. You may think that as all of the animatronics in FNAF 1, but there is one very important animatronic I have not mentioned, and that animatronic is Original Fredbear. Original Fredbear is actually a threat from night 1 onwards. I just did not mention him until now since he is very rare and has more of a chance of appearing the further you are into the game. He functions like Golden Freddy. If he appears, simply either lift up the monitor or open the panel to repel him. If you do not open the panel or monitor after encountering original Fredbear, he will give you a FNAF 1 Golden Freddy-like kill screen and send you back to the warning screen. That is all the characters and their mechanics in FNAF 1. Let's move on to this game's very intriguing story. On night 1 the phone call reveals a few things about the story. We are introduced to the phone guy, who is Henry Emily. He owns Fredbear's family diner. He tells us that certain things happened in the establishment and that he was focused on fixing what happened. Aside from that, he only explains how to defend against the original puppet and Spring Bonnie. We will also find out what events happened at the establishment over the course of the game. There is also an 8-bit cutscene after each night. These reveal a lot of the story, as you will see later on. Some cutscenes reenact events seen in the normal FNAF story, though some cutscenes are quite unique. The Night 1 cutscene shows the bite of 83 with some words from William Afton as seen at the bottom of the screen. Here is the cutscene. We can see from this cutscene that William feels regret for not being able to save the crying child. He also implies that he will kill the 4 children who caused the bite, stating that they will pay the highest price. That is all the story for Night 1. Let's move on to Night 2. On Night 2 Henry gives us some more story regarding what happened in the past. He also talks about the Fredbear copy that they lended to the company Joy and Fun. As said by Henry, the company is based in Chile. They lended a Fredbear copy to the company around the months of February and March. Henry was then told in April that the establishment exploded. Aside from that, he tells us about the bite. We learn that they needed to remodel Fredbear because of it, which is why there is Fredbear and original Fredbear. The remodeled Fredbear is one of the main enemies you are against in FNAF 1. Original Fredbear was decommissioned after the bite and appears as an Easter egg. That is it for this night's phone call. So let's move on to the cutscene. This cutscene reenacts Elizabeth's death to Baby. Aside from William showing his regret, nothing else really happens in this cutscene, but we'll watch it and then move on to Night 3. On Night 3 Henry doesn't tell us anything more about the story. He only explains how to defend against original BB. So let's move on to the cutscene. In this night's cutscene, we see an event that was not seen in any official FNAF media. That event is the murder of Cassidy. FNAF 1 portrays this murder in a very good way. And it also shows that William did not hold back. This cutscene also reveals that Cassidy went on to possess original Fredbear along with the crying child. There is much more evidence for this that you will see in FNAF 2. Let's watch this cutscene and then move on to Night 4. Night 4 is the last we hear from Henry in the main nights of FNAF as he is busy with paperwork and other things. Henry tells us that they will have enough money to open another location in a few years, and that Paul can come back to work there if he wants to. This is exactly what happens in FNAF 2. That is all for Night 4's phone call. So let's move on to the cutscene. This cutscene is an alternate version of the Take Cake to the Children minigame from FNAF 2. We can see an animatronic who is probably original Fredbear giving cake to the kids. Much like FNAF 2, we can see William kill Charlie outside of the establishment. We can then see the original puppet walk over to her corpse, which basically confirms she goes on to possess the original puppet. Let's watch this cutscene, and then move on to Night 5. On Night 5, Henry may not be calling us, though we still get a phone call. As of right now, it is unknown who is calling us, though as confirmed by Horus it is not one of the animatronics in the establishment. It has also been confirmed to not be William or Michael. This call has also been confirmed to not be a call for help. It is a call of contempt and anger due to whoever's plans not going well. As of now, that is all we know about this phone call. Maybe we will learn more about it in the future. In this night's cutscene, we can see William kill another child. This child goes on to possess the best animatronic ever created, original Balloon Boy. Not much happens besides that, so let's move on to the cutscene. On Night 6, we get a phone call. This call only contains what we can assume to be original Fredbear laughing. There is nothing more than that. So let's move on to the cutscene. This cutscene is the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame from FNAF 2. The victims could be the ones who caused the bite, as William said they would pay the highest price. Let's watch this cutscene and move on to the post-game. FNaF 1 has two max modes. Those two max modes are named Golden Freddy and Purple Blood. After beating Golden Freddy, we get a cutscene of the original puppet leading someone, likely Paul or Henry, to see someone, presumably William, choking someone in a Fredbear suit, which I will show you now. This could also be original Fredbear doing this on their own after being decommissioned, though for now it is unknown. After beating Golden Freddy, if we click on Divided Diesel's head in the extras menu, he will tell us to type William on the custom night menu to access Purple Blood. Purple Blood is the final night of this game, and after beating it we are given a cutscene reveal of FNaF 2 along with a monologue from Henry, which I will show you now.
Nunca pasó por mi mente que estuviera acabado así. Me sirve de lección para no confiar mucho en el resto. Lo único bueno es que ya aprendí. Aunque haya caído esta vez, voy a levantarme de nuevo. Mis diseños y una nueva oportunidad. Ojalá que todo salga bien. Esta es una nueva oportunidad.
That is it for the story and gameplay of FNaF 1. FNaF 2 takes what we were given here and expands on it in an amazing way. I am very excited to cover FNaF 2 sometime. Thank you for watching. I apologize if this video was a bit bare in some places, though I promise you there will be much more in the FNaF 2 video. I also want to mention, there is a 2.0 update of FNaF 1 coming out much later. It is looking great though, and it will add more stuff to the story and gameplay. FNaclocking will also become much more relevant later on, as you will see in the next video. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.